Hi, my name is Joe Whalen. I'm a systems engineer with NetApp, and today we're going to talk about how to create a volume, a CIFS share, and how to create and modify a global namespace in Clustered Data ONTAP. So we're going to start off by talking about flexible volumes. Flexible volumes are logical containers that contain data used by your application. This can include NAS data, SAN LUNs, or both. NetApp recommends that NAS data and SAN LUNs not be mixed in the same volume because each may have very different backup requirements. Two volumes are shown here for simplicity, but many FAS systems support up to thousands of volumes per controller and up to 12,000 volumes in a cluster. Each volume can have up to 255 snapshots. Snapshot copies are a powerful element of Data ONTAP, and they are the basis of most NetApp application technologies. When a snapshot copy of a flexible volume is created, a read-only copy of the data in the volume at that point in time is created. That means that application administrators can restore LUNs using the snapshot copy, and end users can restore their own files. Flexible volumes are stored in aggregates, and aggregates provide the raw storage required by the flexible volumes. Flexible volumes can be mirrored, archived, or non-disruptively moved to other aggregates. Non-disruptive data mobility, sometimes called vol move or NetApp data motion for volumes, is a key advantage of Clustered Data ONTAP. It allows a cluster to continue serving data as the physical storage controllers are added or removed from it. It also enables workload rebalancing and non-disruptive migration of storage services to different media types such as flash, spinning media, and flash pool aggregates. No matter where a volume goes, it keeps its identity. That means that its snapshot copies, its replication relationships, and other characteristics of the flexible volume remain the same. So we're going to start our demo today by opening OnCommand System Manager, going into the Storage Virtual Machine, clicking on the Volumes tab, and hitting Create. We're going to name our volume sysvol. We're going to choose an aggregate for the volume to exist on, and hit OK. You see you have various storage types, either NAS, SAN, or a data protection volume. We're going to go with NAS as we're creating a sys volume. We're creating the space, the snapshot reserve space, and you'll see that reflected below. And we're also going to thin provision this volume. We're going to quickly click on the Namespace button on the left. And you can see that the sys volume has been mounted under the root mount point. Now we're going to go into shares and click the Create Share button. We're going to browse to the folder that we want to share. So we go to the root mount point, and under that we see sysvol. If a volume is not mounted, it cannot be shared. We're going to click OK on that. We're going to keep the share name the same, although it could be different, and we're going to click Create. Next, we're going to go into Windows Explorer and map a drive to the share that we just created. So we're open my computer, map network drive. We're going to map it to the Y drive. So we're putting in the fully qualified path, svm1/sysvol. Now you see, pretty simple, creates a share. We can go in here now and create files. If you look, it's just a Y drive, just like we map any other network drive, as if it was a Windows file server. So we'll create a document. We'll just call it test1 here. And we can open that document, modify it, and save our changes. No problem. Now we're going to create two additional volumes and demonstrate the global namespace functionality inside of Clustered Data ONTAP. So same process as before. We're going to go in there, and now we're going to create two more volumes. We're going to call this first one child1. We're going to choose an aggregate, hit OK. Again, it's going to be NAS. We'll make it 10 gigs again, and we will thin provision and hit Create. You see by default that it puts the namespace, it mounts it directly under the root mount point. You see child1 at the same level as sysvol. what we're going to do here is we're going to unmount child 1 and go in there and remount it. And this time we're going to mount it under sysvol. And what that'll do is that'll make that look like it's a folder under that share point. Going under the root mount point, sysvol, hit OK, and hit mount. We're going to go back into Windows Explorer. And now you see the child 1 mount point. It looks basically like a folder within Windows Explorer. Same exact functionality. I can go in there, create a document, call it test2, save, make some changes, and save my document. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a third volume. We're going to call it child2, go through the same process, choose an aggregate. Again, it's NAS, we're making 10 gigs, thin provision, hit create. Again, that is mounted directly under the root mount point, and we're going to modify that again. Going into the namespace, we're going to unmount child 2. And we're going to mount it once again. And the junction path will again go to the root mount point, sysvol, and hit OK. So now we will see 2 mount points under the primary share of sysvol, child 1 and child 2, when we go into Windows Explorer. Again, same functionality. I can go into that child 2 directory. I can create a new document, call it test3. Again, I can modify that document. I can make changes. I can save those changes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unmount child 2 by going back into On-Command System Manager. We're going to highlight child 2, unmount. And this time we're going to mount it, but we're going to mount it child 2 as a child mount point of child 1. So we're going to browse all the way down from the root to sysvol to child 1. And this is demonstrating just the flexibility and the scalability of building out this giant global namespace throughout the cluster. You see my original test documents in there, child 1 is in there, I see test 2. Now child 2's directory is in there, and my test 3 document. So you can just see it gives you enormous capability to modify that global namespace on the fly. So this wraps up our demonstration today on how to create volumes, how to create CIFS shares, and how to create and modify a global namespace in Clustered Data ONTAP. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you for your time.